What's up, college football fans? Don't forget to check out and order your copy of Stiff Arming Football Myths, our latest football game plan book. So go on our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copy. We have these available in paperback as well as in PDF form. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our preview of the 2015 Outback Bowl between the Auburn Tigers and the Wisconsin Badgers. Now let's take a look at some coaching points for both teams in this matchup, starting with Auburn.
For Auburn in this ball game, I would stay with the single high safety defensively until Wisconsin shows that they can throw themselves out of that defense that you're in. Stay with one single high safety, put that extra guy in the box so that way you can stop the ground game. And I would work the passing game very early. We know Auburn can do a great job in running the football with different misdirection plays. Getting those two guys on the outside involved in the passing game early would only bode well for their success later on in this matchup. And that defensive line has to be able to shed blocks. You can't allow Wisconsin to control the line of scrimmage, otherwise you'll lose this football game. And for the Badgers in this matchup, quarterback play is going to be crucial, whether that's Joe Stavey or Tanner McAvoy. Both guys, in my opinion, have to play excellent football and not make the Wisconsin Badgers one-dimensional. They don't have to throw it 35 times a game. Just make those 10 to 15 plays a game in the passing game that helps out your offense. And they must play assignment football defensively. Auburn is about misdirection. They're about illusion. And if you're not playing assignment football, they'll gas you for big plays on the ground. And you don't want to lose possessions. That's what happened versus Ohio State. Turnovers, bad drives. They lost possessions, and Ohio State was able to run them out of the stadium. The same thing can happen versus Auburn. So again, it's about playing clean football, protecting the football, and don't lose possessions, maximize them. The biggest X factor for Auburn in this ball game will be the play of their wide receivers. They have a huge advantage on the outside with size, athleticism, and just sheer big play making ability with Sammy Coates and Duke Williams. And if they're able to have success early on in the ball game on the outside, it makes things easier for Cameron Artis-Payne, the running back, to operate in the backfield. And for Wisconsin, the biggest X factor is nose tackle Arthur Goldberg, the sophomore defensive lineman. He's going to have a huge day. He has a huge task going up against Reese Dismukes, one of the best centers in the country. And if you want to stop this Auburn offense, you have to stop it from within. And it all starts with Arthur Goldberg having success versus Dismukes. Now here are some 2015 draft prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ball game. Some big-time talent on both squads as always. You look at Reese Dismukes, like I said before, probably the best center prospect in the country. Melvin Gordon has declared early one of the best backs in this year's draft, explosive playmaker. And you look at other guys like Sammy Coates, Rob Havenstein. Those guys, in my opinion, will play a long time along with Gabe Wright on Sundays. Walter Gilbert was one of the greatest offensive linemen in Tigers history and one of the best centers of his era. Gilbert also played some linebacker for Auburn as well. The Fairfield, Alabama native went on to become a three-time All-American and SEC MVP. Jim Leonard started his career at Wisconsin as a walk-on, but was a regular starter for the Badgers, earning all Big Ten honors 3 times, and was also an All-American as a sophomore. And he finished his Badgers career with 21 interceptions and 281 tackles. In a rematch of the 2001 Outback Bowl, South Carolina took on Ohio State, and this game was shaping up to be a blowout, just like the previous year's game, as South Carolina built a 28-7 lead heading into the fourth quarter until Ohio State scored 21 straight fourth quarter points to tie the game, and a late Steve Bellisari interception gave the Gamecocks the ball in great field position as South Carolina kicked the game-winning field goal to beat Ohio State 31-28. In the 2005 Sugar Bowl, Auburn took on Virginia Tech, and the Tigers were upset that they didn't play for the national title that season and took their frustration out on the Hokies. Despite being outgained, Auburn made plays when it mattered to knock off Virginia Tech 16-13 to finish the season a perfect 12-0. Wisconsin came into the 1982 Independence Bowl looking for its first bowl win in school history, and they faced a Kansas State squad that had a very tough defense that season, and they were led by quarterback Randy Wright and defensive lineman Tim Krumrie. The Badgers got that elusive first victory, 14-3. I like Wisconsin in this ball game. I believe the Badgers can win up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They play great in the trenches, and I think they'll be able to run their way to success versus Auburn. I think they'll lean on the defensive line. Melvin Gord should have an outstanding day, and it won't be about the quarterbacks. It'll mostly be about how well Wisconsin was able to win defensively within their front seven. So I see the Badgers knocking off Auburn in the Outback Bowl.